I have a message from the village Jedi.
Max Rebo, hit it. Hello, Panorama family. Welcome back to another Star Wars Point of View brought to you by the local village Jedi. My name is Marina, and if you're new here, welcome back. And if you're... Did I even say that right? No, let's start over. Welcome to the podcast. My name is Marina, and if you're new here, welcome. And if you're not, welcome back. That's how it's supposed to go. You can tell I'm a little rusty, and it's really only because same thing, like I'm not in cosplay. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm in this cute black top with the little ruffles and the kyber crystal, very slay, very, very beautiful. It's because we're in finals week. I have successfully completed my first semester gearing toward nursing of my prereqs. So yay me, I have one more final to do next week on Tuesday, but other than that, we are good to go. So we are going to go ahead and get into this. First, a couple things. We run behind the scenes. I have an Instagram page and a TikTok page at the Village Jedi, or if you would like to send in an email to get involved in the discussion directly, you can send me an email at tvjpod@gmail.com. I'm kind of all over the place today. We did a live for the first time on Instagram, and thank you so much to everyone who tuned in yesterday. And it was really fun. I started at 5 o'clock, and I went for about a half hour, just kind of talking a little bit about my life and my likes and my dislikes, engaging with the fans who decided to stop by and support that. And it really was just me kind of listening to country music, putting my makeup on. So if that's something you want to get involved with and stop by and say hi, see a little bit more about me and my personality besides just Star Wars, feel free to stop by. So I'm going to try and do that again because it was really fun, super successful, next Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific time. So we are going to get into this with all that out of the way. We have a lot to yap about, but first let's go ahead and take a brief ad break. Hello there. If you're looking to build your collection, the Village Jedi is now collaborating with Saber Masters to offer you $20 off your first combat ready laser sword. You heard that correctly, combat ready. The team at Saber Masters makes it their personal mission to create lightsabers built to last using lightweight polycarbonate blades with customizable settings and simple navigation. Saber Masters has really crafted the ultimate experience. Saber Masters is always offering a great deal for Force users everywhere, but with my code TVJ20, you can save an extra $20 at checkout. Simply type in the code at the checkout screen, TVJ20, and you're done. Link will be in the show notes. Okay, we are doing another week of The Mandalorian. 1 week was not enough. So I posed a question on my Instagram. I sent a link to the forum where I asked 3 questions. It was all anonymous, and it basically was just a way for me to kind of get more information as far as what listeners enjoyed about the film, didn't enjoy about the film, and then questions that they might have had for me as the host, as well as just a few notes I took going into after my third watching of the film. It was Grant's first time watching it. He really enjoyed it, and so these were just a few notes that I walked away from after that showing. And I really, again, still 10 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. If you want my full deep dive breakdown, what I loved, what I didn't love, kind of overview of that is going to be on my episode last week. But as far as this week, we're just going to talk a little bit more about it because we got a great movie. And there's a lot to talk about. There's been a lot of online discussions that I personally have taken part of. And now I'm on the show, and we're going to keep talking about it. So welcome at the Village Jedi, the Mandalorian and Grogu. Let's get into it. First off, on my little handy-dandy master list here, is Zeb's CGI looks so good. I didn't fully appreciate it. And same with the Hutts. Rod of the Hutt looks incredible. I didn't fully appreciate it at the time of my first and second viewing, but I absolutely loved it the third viewing. It is so well done. The colors look great. The textures look great. Hats off to the CGI team. And then we got Zeb's voice actor, Jeremy Allen White, did a great job for Rada. I just thought that these characters, I bought into it. It was a very believable CGI. So I just had to say that right off the bat. I didn't say that last week, and so I wanted to say that this week. Kudos to that CGI team. Second note, the Razor Crest was necessary because it had to hold a hut. I don't know why I didn't put this together until the third showing, because Grant was sitting next to me. He's like, oh, I miss the Naboo. Like, the midlife crisis, dad hot rod was where it was at for me. Why do we have to bring the Razor Crest back? And I was thinking about it. I'm like, because we needed something to hold Rada. Rada can't fit in an N1 Starfighter. I think that's what it's called. So we needed a bigger ship. And why would Mando get a ship that's not the Razor Crest? Plus, he's got a family now. He needs a minivan, a full-size van, if that's what you want to call it. He can't be riding around in a two-seated Corvette. He needs a place with a little room. Grogu's jumping on the bed. He's got his buddy, Zeb. So we also needed a ship to haul a hut. So I did like that detail. That tied it up for me. Another detail on the list, Rada, on the back of his head, he has the Hut Crime Syndicate symbol tattooed. And with some of the other Huts, they have a tattoo like on their chin or on their forehead, but his is on the back of his head. And so it's just something I thought about, that like that what must have been given to him without consent, like against his will. And it just plays further into the narrative that he like does not want to be a part of this family. He does not want to be a part of this inheritance. He has been viewed as property. We can do what we want to you from the very beginning. So I thought that that was very clever. I enjoyed that little tidbit. The next tidbit I wrote was the camera pans to Grogu while Rada is talking about not wanting to live in his father's shadow. And from, a viewer's perspective, it makes sense. Like the camera pans to Din, and then the camera pans to Rada, and then it pans to Grogu, and then back to Rada again. Like we're just having a conversation with who's in the room at the time. But the fact that it panned to Grogu while Rada is talking about not wanting to live in the shadow of someone who had a lot of influence within his community makes me wonder if Yoda is Grogu's son. So can you imagine trying to live up to your father being the Jedi Master Yoda within the Jedi Council? And I know this probably isn't real, but you guys know me. I'm a ship girly. I love the love. Yaddle Yoda. They had a baby. It's Grogu. Like, who knows? Who knows? And so I just wanted to say that I just thought that was kind of an interesting tidbit as a third watch that I hadn't really caught. Like, why did it pan to Grogu during that part of Rada's journey? Like, is it because Grogu understands that? Like, he knows what that's like? Who knows? Only time will tell. The next one I wrote is that Coin's Mansion has that Geonosis Arena Cat trophy. I didn't get a chance to write down the name of the species, but in Attack of the Clones, in the Geonosis Arena, there's this crazy like spider cat thing that attacks Padme. It like scratches, her back. And in Coin's mansion, he has the head of one of those cats in his mansion on the wall, like a trophy. And so I thought that was kind of cool. I hadn't caught that before. Maybe I did. I put it in my notes last week, but I don't remember if I said it or not. So if I did, congratulations, past me. You are so observant. And if I didn't, hello, present me. Great catch. Next on the list, the dragon snake looks like Rudy from Ice Age Dawn of the Dinosaurs. He is this... I never thought I would ever say that sentence out loud. Why is that so funny? You guys know what I'm talking about. Okay, so if you haven't seen it, Ice Age Dawn of the Dinosaurs, there's a lot of lore to explain. Just go do yourself a favor and watch that trilogy. Ice Age 1, Ice Age 2, The Meltdown, Ice Age 3, Dawn of the Dinosaurs. You can stop there. It's fine. You won't be missing anything. But in that third film, there is this like muskrat, scrappy weasel named Buck. See, this is where I'm like rethinking my life choices. And he has this obsession with this dinosaur, and he's like this pale albino white dinosaur, and his like face shape and structure looks a lot like the dragon snake on Nal Hutta. So I just had to add that and throw that in there as well. Nice little catch for you to think about on your next rewatch. The dragon snake doesn't have a name, so let's go ahead and give it one here at the Village Jedi podcast, and it is Rudy the dragon snake. Okay, my next little tidbit here is Zeb is reliving the glory days on the Razor Crest. Anytime he's in that pilot seat or he's in the back seat where Din is driving, it just made me think about the Phantom and the Ghost crew and how much fun Zeb had. And surely he's got to be thinking that. He's with a Mandalorian, like Sabine. He's with a little Jedi dude, Ezra and Kanan. And you've just got to be thinking like how fun this must be for him, that he's just reliving the good old days with that crew. You can tell he's having a good time. Anytime he's on the screen, he's just happy to be there. And so I'm happy for him on this third rewatch. What a treat that we get to see Zeb, and he's just happy to be there, happy to be a part of it. And I don't know, I hadn't really put that together, but I think that's really sweet. So that was my next tidbit. Next on the list, we're just moving and grooving here because I got a lot to get to, and I want to get to what the listeners said about the movie without taking up too much of your time this weekend. But the score during Din's death is what I imagine a slow dying with honor sounds like. This score, the song was so incredibly beautiful, hauntingly lovely, where when you listen to it, it is just a slow decline with acceptance. Like he is leaning into this end, basically. And rewatching it a third time, really being able to just digest the music instead of letting it set the tone for me, I can set my mood aside and dissect the tone of the song. And so I was able to do that with this score, this scene. He's laying in the fields. I just think that would make some really beautiful fan art out there. If there's an artist listening and you want to draw that and send it to me at tvjpod@gmail.com so that I can enjoy and admire it. I really like that part of the film. I think the score was incredibly strong and it did shine through during that moment. Next little tidbit here. I really cannot get enough of this healthy father-son dynamic, especially in a Star Wars story. We do not get enough of the father-son dynamics within the Star Wars universe where it's actually a really good thing. Like either the dad dies, he's absent, he's abusive, but seeing a genuinely strong relationship here, I love it. I absolutely love it. It is the heart of the Mandalorian show. It is the heart of this film. And so I think that's why I'm so hardcore for this movie. People who do not like it, I can get behind your reasoning of like, well, it wasn't very strong story-wise. Well, the plot, okay, like I hear you, but I don't care. Like, I love this. I love the heart of it. I love the heart of the film. And so I love those memes that are like POV Star Wars fans trying to gaslight themselves into thinking a bad film is actually good. It was a fun time. It was a fun ride. Yeah, that's me. That's the hill I'm dead on. It was. It was full of heart. Sue me. This movie came, I don't want to get like too personal because that's what the Instagram lives are for, I suppose. But this film came at the exact right time for me. I needed a Star Wars movie to escape. And so I will never, ever say a bad word about this film in terms of an overall experience. Sure, there's little things that I'm like, oh, it would have been cool this. It would be cool this. But you will catch me go into bat for this film every single time. And it's because of the heart. It really is. It gave me what I needed as a fan. And so my individual experience as a viewer and as a Star Wars fan, this movie was everything I needed it to be. So I love it. And it's okay if you didn't. It's okay if you didn't need this film. It's okay if you're fine. And so you didn't need a hug. But I did need a hug. And this film gave one to me. So I love it. I love it. Moving on. Grogu, I wrote down, he doesn't really get tired using his powers anymore. Like, especially in the first couple of seasons of the show, we see that he's like, he uses the Force once and then he needs to take a nap. And that's fine, but like, I felt bad for him. Like, I would be like, no, Grogu, like, you really don't, because then Din has to carry around this like unconscious child. So it's just cool seeing his character growth, that he is fine. Like, he can use the Force and then lock back in. And so I really did appreciate that. Anyone who thinks that like Grogu didn't evolve through this film, what were you watching? Because he clearly did. So that is cool and something that I was able to appreciate on my third rewatch. They're like, hey, Grogu's not randomly passing out. That's cool. So I wrote that down. Tidbit. Next tidbit. When Grogu, along the same lines, when Grogu uses the Force to save Rada, Rada has never been saved before. Yeah, he was saved in the Clone Wars when he got kidnapped, blah, 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 blah. He doesn't remember that. This was a life-altering moment for him. Grogu used every ounce of strength in his little tiny froggy body to save his older brother, and he will never, ever, ever forget that. Grogu's going to live for hundreds of years. Rada's going to live for hundreds of years. And those bros are going to stay together till the end. Like, that moment cemented that broship. So I got emotional thinking about that the other day. I'm like, oh, can't think about that for too long, which if you know me, you know that like those are the moments that I love the most and I like torture myself the most over. I posted a reel like that on Instagram to like this Barbie music, What Was I Made For, Billie Eilish, talking about like how Din dies and there's going to be a time when Grogu wakes up and Din isn't there, and like Grogu went to sleep not knowing if Din was going to wake up, and the whole time it's like, I used to love, now I used... Girl, wrap it up and go home. Nobody wants you here. So this was one of those moments for me where I was like, oh. So I liked that. Hadn't appreciated it as much until the third rewatch. Very powerful moment. Next tidbit I wrote is that Grogu still sees the value in using the Force as a Mandalorian. It isn't absolute for him. You can use it as a strength without abusing its power. And so I liked that thought as he would use his power throughout the film. To like, yeah, he has his Jedi abilities. He does his meditations that Luke taught him. But like, he recognizes, oh, just because I've chosen not to learn the ways and walk in the ways of the Jedi doesn't mean I can never use the Force again. It just means that I'm not going to live and walk in the ways of the Jedi. So I appreciate that. He's like, just because I'm not carrying a lightsaber doesn't mean I can't use the Force to help people. He recognizes like that is a asset to me. Like, I use this to enhance my abilities and contributions toward the Mandalorian creed. I am a Mandalorian through and through. I am part of this family. This is my place within the galaxy. And I just happen to have these gifts and skills that I can use to help the family. So I like that a lot. That was something I appreciated more on my third rewatch. The next one I wrote is this concept started as a show. And what I mean by that, no other Star Wars film started as a television show. We got Rogue One before we got Andor. So this is the first time that the show set the tone for the movie. And so that scene where we see all the different directors sitting around the table, there's Dave Filoni and the different directors and they're like kind of background characters. They deserve that. Some fans think that that was kind of cheap. I think it just goes to show like, no, we built this. And now we're in the movie theater. Like this started out as a Disney Plus television show. And now we're in the theater. So just think as a filmmaker, what kind of dream come true that would be for you. A, you get called to work on a Star Wars project. Dream come true. Second dream come true, you're working for Disney. You know those checks are huge. Third dream come true, now you're on the screen. You have gone past the behind the camera. Now you're in front of the camera and you get to watch your baby become this magnificent project. So just from a filmmaking perspective and an artistry perspective, how cool is that? And so again, when people have a problem that this show isn't like, or this movie isn't a lot like a lot of other Star Wars projects, that's because it's nothing like the other movies on purpose. It started as a show. It kind of reminds me, Grant and I were having this conversation like when the Hannah Montana movie came out, when the Kim Possible movie came out, when the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody movie came out, like cartoons and TV shows that we would watch every Saturday on Disney Channel. Then they came out with a movie. And a lot of those movies weren't in theaters, but it was special because it made your rewatch of the show that much more fun because you're working up toward the movie. And in some cases, the seasons after the movie would mean the seasons were even more enjoyable because of the movie. So the movie was just a way to reward the fans and reward the writers. They're like, hey, we've built something here, and so now we're going to give you this. And that is the feeling of this show. We worked really hard to give you this high caliber entertainment, so now you get a movie. And no one's expecting it to be something like crazy because it's just a reward. And that's enough for me as a fan. I had a great experience watching the show, and now I get a movie. Cool. So I wrote that in there. Again, let's just gently tuck the soapbox away. For the love of God. Put it away. Next line of reasoning I had here, little tidbit. Colonel Ward, who is Sigourney Weaver's character, should have been Holdo's sister from The Last Jedi. Which if you guys remember her, she's got like the purple hair, the Holdo maneuver. She like stays behind on the ship and then cranks it to hyperdrive and goes through the First Order fleet. She should have been Holdo's sister. Like I was trying to think like where could she fit that it was like she's not just this random person, which is fine. But I just think that would have added a little more depth to her character, especially because I feel like some areas of the performance were a little flat. And maybe that's just not, because I'm a huge Sigourney Weaver fan. I don't know. I haven't seen her in very many projects. But for me, that would have been a cool little tidbit. Like, hey, like, Holdo, Colonel Holdo, like, that's cool. So, I don't know. That was just something I had to, like, throw in there on my third rewatch where I was like, what would have made this character a little cooler to me? It would be if there was some sort of in-universe touchstone. Like, I recognize that name. Oh, that's crazy. Like, that would have been cool for me. Lastly, Empire Radio said on one of their episodes that Colonel Ward should have been an Imperial mole. So I heard that going into the third rewatch, and I love that theory. I don't know if it's been floating around. I hadn't seen or heard it until they had mentioned it, and I love that theory. That would have been so perfect. A great way to kind of like stay tuned next time on The Mandalorian. Colonel Ward, and it could still happen, but I doubt it. She's pretty locked in now, not very suspicious. There were a couple scenes where she was acting a little suspicious, but we got what we got, and I loved it. I already said the movie made me feel amazing. I cannot wait to watch it again. I want to watch it in ScreenX, and now I am so excited to transfer over to what you guys thought about the film. Okay, transferring over. Google Forms, it's actually a very handy tool. I want to do it more. I had some great responses. So I think I'm going to do that more. So if you aren't already, follow me on Instagram at the Village Jedi Podcast and be on the lookout for those. It'll be in my stories, just kind of here and there. A great way to get the audience involved in the discussion besides writing a formal Dear the Village Jedi email. So here we go. Some responses. There are 3 questions, so we're going to go through each of them. What did you, the listener, enjoy about the Mandalorian and Grogu movie? We're going to read through these. These are great. First one. I really enjoyed how many elements from the original trilogy actually were pulled into this movie. I thought that the comedic timing was great and it was a nice balance. Also, as a side note, Jon Favreau talked in an interview about seeing the original film with his dad and his dad making specific comments about all the oil stains and stuff on the swings. And I saw this moment come full circle in the credits at the beginning where we saw all the swings behind worked on outside at Adelphi base. Yes. I agree. Rewatching the original trilogy after watching this movie is going to be so fun. And I put that on Instagram actually. It was very polarizing, like most of the content I've been posting about this movie. That this movie felt like an 80s sci-fi movie with better CGI and animatronics. So people who are like, Star Wars actually died in the 80s. You should be loving this film. You should be wanting more films like this if you truly believe that that is the case. So, moving on. Next one. I loved the scenes of Grogu surviving and taking care of injured Mando in the jungle. I agree. That whole 20-minute sequence, cinema. Again, showed us Grogu growing as a character, as a creature, as a being, as an independent man. Love it. Next one. I loved everything about it. One I don't see people talking about is how many different huts we actually got to see. I believe it was 8. I didn't count, but I believe you. And again, CGI for the huts, Nal Hutta, looked fabulous. It did a great job grossing me out. So I agree. Next, I loved the vibe. It wasn't some galactic level crisis or war. It was a Western about a bounty hunter teaching his son right from wrong. Plus, Grogu getting to go full Yoda was awesome. Again, I agree. I've been seeing multiple people talking. The fact that he just knew how to build this little mud hut, awesome. That gives us a little more insight into maybe what is the instincts of this species. We don't know a lot about Yoda species. We don't even know the name. And so getting to see those shots not only gave us more insight into who Grogu is, but maybe more insight into how that species moves through the world and whatever world they feel most comfortable on. Because Nal Hutta is a lot like Dagobah. So, of course, Yoda thrived on Dagobah. Grogu is thriving on Nal Hutta. Makes sense. And again, it wasn't some galactic level crisis. It was a fun adventure. I don't see what the big problem is. Why do you hate it so much? We're going to get into that. What are some things you disliked about the movie? Actually, stay tuned. This person says that it felt like an old school sci-fi movie. Again, from the 80s. Slay. So much. The fun. Rada and Mando team up Dejarik. Grogu's moments and the Anzellans have me now. Zeb, and more Zeb. The adventure. Yes, the action sequences were amazing. Soundtrack was great and it was so fun and cute. Was exactly what I expected. I enjoyed the theme and atmosphere of the film with the fan service. I enjoyed the score, the action, Rada the Hutt, and Grogu's character development, the animations and the story, and obviously Shikari. Yes. So all of these responses talking about how much fun this movie is. It is a ride. Zeb was great. Grogu is great. Rada is great. We can all agree on that. So when I talk online and notice that people don't like it, I would like genuine reasons besides it was boring. It was flat. It was this. Okay, let's get into that because there's a lot of people who thoroughly enjoyed this film. Let's get into what you did dislike / what you wish was different. There's quite a few of those as well. Number 1, I know they ultimately did not include anything about Greef Karga into the movie since it would not have served the plot, but it would have been nice to have IG-11, The Marshal of Navarro delivers sad news to Din about the passing of Grief. He plays a critical role in the series, and I feel like an on-screen acknowledgement of the actor's death is warranted. That was my only complaint. I can 100% get behind this. I didn't think about that, and now I feel a little disrespectful about it, frankly, because it is true. When an actor passes in real life, it does affect the fandom, especially if the presence was strong. And this was a strong character, the delivery very well, and so it would have been nice if such a key character throughout the first 3 seasons leading up to this movie, if we got some sort of acknowledgement. So I can't agree with you on that one. Next, what did you dislike? I wish there were more characters returning from the series. Again, I have to agree. It would have been nice to see Bo-Katan. It would have been nice to get a name drop from Zeb about Hera. Like, it would have been nice to hear a little bit more about how Cara Dune is doing, or what's going on with Boba Fett. Like, just, there would have been moments for some sort of passive comment. Not so much like, let's call in the actor and get them here on set for a week, but let's just mention the character. I would have appreciated that. Next, I truly do believe it should have been a season 4. Then they could have done a series final finale as the movie. Again, I have to agree. If you're putting all this money and time into writing a script, building the sets, creating the costumes, I like that. That would have been fun. And who doesn't want a season 4? We got a little over 2-hour movie, but we would have gotten like 10 hours of The Mandalorian and Grogu. Sign me up. And then got this movie as a finale. I would have loved it. It felt really contrived, and the guy who turned on Rada was also the Imperial warlord Mando was looking for, a touch bit of lazy writing. I can see that, but again, something I liked about this movie is that all the loose ends were tied up. It was a cohesive story. So we already introduced a pointless villain in the beginning, like we just killed him off in the first 5 minutes. If we would have introduced Janu and then just been like, okay, that was weird, some guy who, is obsessed with salt, okay? I liked that Rada was like, no, he's the guy you want. Like, we don't have to go on another side quest. You don't have to turn me into my aunt and uncle and then go on another side quest. Because if The Mandalorian isn't famous for anything, it is famous for the side quests that are fun and a good time. But I actually did like that was tied in, because we got a villain that we were going to see for more than just 5 minutes. He played a pivotal role. He obviously was a high-profile contact for the New Republic. And in the end, it worked out because he sang like a canary. So, next. I would have liked to have a Bo-Katan cameo. You and me both. More Zeb any day. Absolutely. More Zeb always. We should get a Zeb show, a Zeb comic, a Zeb book, anything. I would love to hear more about his people. I would have liked if they involved the Empire more, or having Cad Bane as the villain. Having Embo as the villain was really well done, though. Cad Bane had his flowers. He got his moment in Book of Boba. Is that where he was? Yeah. Was he? Girlie, I cannot even remember. Yes. See, it's just been so long. But he got his moment. I remember it. I don't remember where. I don't remember when. But I remember him. So again, this next one. I wasn't a fan of Embo being completely CGI, and the opening felt more like a TV show. Okay, I didn't mind Embo's CGI though. Again, you guys, like, the CGI was so well done. That was my first point. Zeb looked great. Rada looked great. Embo looked great. His dog looked great. Like, I did not have a problem with this. I was like, oh, I believe that. I buy into the fact that is a real species. That is a real alien. Like, it just was so clean. And as far as the opening feeling more like a TV show, yes, this movie is a movie from the TV show. It should feel like a TV show. Like, yeah, well, this is a movie. Yes, but it is a movie based on a TV show. So we've got to have some sort of familiarity here so as not to jump scare, overwhelm, oversaturate the fans. Okay. Am I getting heated? It's really not that deep. It's really not that deep, girl. Calm down. Just me and a piece of paper and my rage. Okay. Moving on. I wish there was a little bit less on the nose of the theme of family, dependence, and courage. I also wish there was more to the film plot-wise than just feeling like a bunch of side quests. Fair. I will not argue with this because I recognize everyone has their own opinion, and that is fine. That is your opinion. Next, it felt a little too easy, but it's okay for me. Oh, I almost can't even say it out loud. I did kind of wish that Din would have died. That is crazy. That is the craziest thing I've ever seen. I'm speechless. I'm genuinely speechless, microphone and all. I did kind of wish that Din would have died. Girl, do you know how hot he is? Oh, so you wanted it to be sad. Like you weren't okay with the kid sad or like will he, won't he? Like you wanted a horror film. You didn't want a family adventure. That's so crazy. That's funny. Okay. But again, your opinion. I shall respect it. When they said sorry, they even typed the like wilted rose emoji. I think that's what's taking me out the most. Okay. Something I wish were different is it felt like a filler episode, but for the show. Overall, it was good because it was genuinely refreshing. I watched it in 3D and it was amazingly beautiful. I would like to watch it in 3D as well. As far as it feeling like a filler episode, I can't deny this. I don't care though, is the thing. So we got great character development. We got a great soundtrack. We got great costumes, great CGI, immersive, great merchandise. Every time I go to Walmart, I'm like blowing some sort of paycheck I shouldn't be blowing on merch. So it felt like a filler episode. That's fine with me. It was a great time. Last one. I have to agree. I'm sorry, wholeheartedly. Sigourney Weaver, I really hope you're not listening to this, Queen. Sigourney Weaver was an unnecessary addition. I feel like her performance fell flat. There was no passion behind her eyes for what the New Republic was building. Maybe that was a character choice. Nonetheless, it didn't work for me. Also, why did Mando tell his son to heal? I hated that, lol. The latter, I do have to agree. And you guys even know I was raging about that last week. Why did he tell his son to heal? Like, this is a full-on person. It's not a dog. Oh, that is so good. Okay, moving on. Questions for the host. Let's go ahead and answer these. Number 1, do you believe that we will see, I even wrote in pen, so I made notes. So I'm not just answering these on the fly. There's a little bit of fly, but not a lot of fly. We're not on the fly. We're next to the fly. Do you believe that we will see a show about a Delphi squadron? I think it would be cool for a limited series of them hunting down the remainder of the Shadow Council. I wrote, I don't think we would see a show, but maybe books, because we did get the Alphabet Squadron books. I personally have not read them, but I've heard they're fantastic. And adventures following some sort of squadron is always a good time. You get a bunch of different characters. They all have their own personalities. It's found family trope, which I love. High stakes. And following a group that works for the New Republic, taking out the Shadow Council, just following the theme, going through Colonel Ward's deck of cards. Maybe Mando and Grogu pop in once in a while. Just a little name drop of Zeb. Would love to see that in books. I would love to see that in a book series. Maybe like 3 books or 5. I'm a firm believer that a book series with an odd amount of books it feels right. So like 3 books, 5 books, 7 books, even 9 books. 11 feels too many. I almost said 12. 11 books feels too many, but like I could see like 3 to 5 books of the Delphi squadron. That'd be fun. Next question. Where do you think we'll see Grogu next? Ahsoka season 2. Guaranteed. The Mandoverse is going to be a huge crossover. Dave Filoni's wildest fantasy dream come true. I'm sure we'll see a Loth Wolf. Ahsoka season 2. Next question. Do you think Zeb added anything to this movie, or was he just there for marketing? I feel like he was a very strong character to use as Din's partner. He's tied to the New Republic. He works well. He has great experience working with a Mandalorian. So I think he was the natural choice. It wouldn't have made sense for Din to move through the character as a contractor of the New Republic by himself. He's claiming that I'm an independent contractor. I'm an independent contractor. Sure. But it does help that you have someone to kind of keep an eye on you and it has your back. How many times did Zeb come in and save your skin? Enough times for it to be good that he's there. So I think he was there for a good reason, not just for marketing. Should Mando start looking for another enclave? I do not know how to pronounce that word. You guys, please educate me in the comments. Of Mandalorians to help raise Grogu or keep going solo with him. If you're fans of the show, you're longtime listeners, you already know how I'm going to answer this. He needs to go marry Bo-Katan. He's got a kid. He's a single dad who works 2 jobs. How does it go? A single mom who works 2 jobs, who loves her kids and never stops. Yeah, that's Din Djarin. He just needs to go back to Mandalore and marry Bo-Katan. It's really not that difficult. It's really not that hard. I'm married. It's really not that hard to just go find the love of your life, Din. She's right there. Okay. You guys, obviously, I'm dead serious. Okay, next question. Since Starfighters is set after The Rise of Skywalker, do you think Rey would make a cameo in this film? Absolutely, I do. Absolutely, I do. I actually saw that we're about to get a new book following Leia and Kylo and Rey. I cannot wait for this book. It's set after The Last Jedi, before Rise of Skywalker. Cannot wait. # bring Ben Solo back, and it starts with Rey. Ben Solo is not dead as long as Rey is alive because they're a dyad. They're tied to each other. He is in the world between worlds. Let me put on my little tinfoil hat. Bring Ben Solo back. And if it has to start with having Rey in the new movie, I'm sat. So the answer to that would be yes, absolutely, I do. Next question. If you could fly any ship in the galaxy far, far away, what would it be? I feel safer in bulkier vehicles. As soon as Thunderstruck by AC/DC is on, I'm getting scared that I'm going to get a ticket. A bit of a speed demon. So being in a bigger vehicle is probably safer for me and others. Like if I could drive a monster truck down the road, I absolutely would. So I would love to drive like the Razor Crest or the Bad Batch's Marauder. Like wherever I'm going, I'm bringing a small apartment with me. I would love that, especially like it's got a bathroom on board. Sign me up. Next question. Should the Darksaber make a comeback? I wrote no, but if Grogu eventually becomes the ruler of Mandalore, his lightsaber should become the new relic. So, I did like that question. This next question, I didn't write anything because I thought we could do it on the fly. Do you think people are correct to point out there wasn't any real character development or any plot development? Yes and no. Because it depends on how you compare it to. My ring light just went out. It depends on how you compare it. If you compare this show to, say, Andor Season 2, there is a lot of plot development and a lot of character development. It is a very fast-paced narrative. If you compare it to Empire Strikes Back, there's a lot going on. However, there's not a ton of character development. There's a lot on Luke's end. He goes to Dagobah. But there's not really a lot going on with Leia and Han, Lando. There's not really a lot there. Like, once again, Han Solo is just kind of on the run for his life. So, I feel as though independently, not comparing it to anything, this film does have character development as far as Grogu and Din's relationship. I think at the beginning, Din is very like babysitting him, but toward the end, he's looking at him more as like, okay, like he does retain information, he is growing, he does understand what's going on, and he is stronger than he looks, he's tougher than he looks. Same with Rada. Like at the beginning, he's like, I'm my own man. I don't need anyone. I don't need anything. It's my way or the highway. The only person I can trust is myself. And by the end, he's selfless. He wants to work for the New Republic. He wants to help people. So in a way there is, but in a lot of ways there's not. It is just an adventure story. We get from point A to point B. It's pretty straightforward. Someone who has never seen a Star Wars movie in their life can follow what is going on. It is not a complicated experience by any means. So I think it's a little bit yes and a little bit no, depending on who you talk to, depending on what you compare it to. But as a standalone, yes and no, if that makes sense. Let's go ahead and get off the fly. Do you think Grogu will be used as an insurance plan for a future Star Wars trilogy to use when fans want something brand new? Well, he isn't dying anytime soon, so I think it's possible. Like, oh, hey, they're getting bored. Let's bring out Grogu. I'm sad. I love him. And I cannot wait for him to start speaking so that we can hear what's on his mind. Next, do you want a sequel of Mando and Grogu to be a movie or a TV show? TV show. We'd get more time. I want more time with this dynamic, with this father, with this son, with all these planets, with Rada, Zeb, Gara Zeb Aurelius. TV show, please. Next, who do you think is the best bounty hunter in the whole universe of Star Wars? My knowledge is limited as far as bounty hunters go. However, if the answer were Din Djarin, who beat Din Djarin? Embo. Embo beat Din Djarin. So, plus he looks really cool in the movie. The rain, the way he was standing, his cool dog. I'm a dog person. Gotta go with Embo. Slay 8, Reese's Puff, eat him up, eat him up, eat him up. What do you think Grogu's ultimate destiny will end up being? Ruler of Mandalore, uniting the clans. That's what I wrote, that's what I stand by, and I will not explain it further. Who was the guy that helped Grogu and the fishies in Cure for the Poison? Just a good Samaritan, I guess. I wrote that he was probably a local. We didn't totally understand like what species he was or what was going on there, but like he just lives by the river. He catches his fish. He rocks in his chair. I think he's just a local. It's a big planet. Nal Hutta is a planet. And so it's not far off to just assume he was just a guy who lives there. He's a local, a good Samaritan, absolutely. Next, any lore on the dragon snake? I went to Wikipedia for you guys. I did my research like a good little girl. The point of origin for the dragon snake, according to Wikipedia, is actually Dagobah or Nal Hutta. In Empire Strikes Back, R2-D2 is almost eaten by a dragon snake with Luke while searching for Yoda, which I did not know, and I will be rewatching that movie this weekend. The dragon snake also is incapable of digesting metal. So that's some more dragon snake lore for you. Also, the dragon snake in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie is named Rudy after Ice Age Dawn of the Dinosaurs. So, a little tidbit for you. Last question. Do you wish we got more from that film, or are you happy with how it was? My only wish, I wrote, is that we had some sort of point toward the future. Again, it felt like a Saturday morning cartoon where you just are able to kind of put it on for the kids, walk away, do the dishes, mow the lawn, whatever, and you don't really have to worry. Like, you don't have to explain anything. You don't have to answer questions. You can just turn it on, start it over from the beginning, let that tape burn. Like, it is going to be on repeat for the families. And that's fine. Again, I was happy with it because it gave me the hug I needed at the time. But I do understand the arguments of people wanting more from it because it is a film. And when you look at Star Wars films, there is a certain caliber to them. There's a certain standard. We expect more. However, I just don't think that's what this film was intended to be. This film was a reward to the fandom who enjoyed the movie or enjoyed the show. You liked the show, you liked what we made, and now our dream is coming true where we had the opportunity to turn it into a movie for you guys. That's all it was. That's all it needed to be for me to enjoy, and I did. So, thank you guys so much for writing in. That was a lot of fun. Let me know if you want me to do that again. I probably will because I had fun. And I am still not totally sure what we're going to be talking about next week. I'm kicking around some ideas, but going forward, I feel like I started the show at kind of the right time because it was right when The Mandalorian was announced and it was right when Maul Shadow Lord was about to come out. So now that everything's kind of said and done and got a bow and it's set on its merry way, we're looking at Ahsoka Season 2 on the horizon. But in the meantime, I'm thinking books. I would love to get into comic books more. There's just a lot of things that I want to do. And Star Wars as a whole is just such an overwhelming topic. So there's a lot of discussions that we can discuss together. I've got a list going of different episode ideas. But if there's anything in particular that you want to hear from me, we're still getting to know each other. I've only been doing this for 3 months. So if you guys want to hear my thoughts on like my favorite shows or my favorite movies or my favorite characters, like I've got all that on the horizon. But if you have any specific requests, please feel free to reach out to me on social media at The Village Jedi, or send me an email at tvjpod@gmail.com. But in the meantime, this is where the fun ends. My only hope is you enjoyed, and I will yap at you guys again next Friday. Bye!
This has been The Village Jedi. Thank you so much for listening. To support this show, please leave a rating or review wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Go check out the YouTube channel or send me an email to be read and discussed on air. You can also tell a fellow nerd to build the community. I mean this in the nerdiest way possible. May the Force be with you.